There seems to be a little confusion here on what happens if Indiana doesn't land Braylon Mullins after just missing out on Jalen Haralson. Don't worry, I'll tell you right now.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into this, the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goetz. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen each and every day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Well, thank you so much for being here and truly making Locked On Hoosiers your first listen, your first watch every single day. And before we get started, I have to thank you. Thank you to all of my everydayers, everybody on the YouTube side, audio side as well, but this one in particular on YouTube. We reached 3,000 subscribers last night. So thank you to you for those of you that continue to come back and support this show. We're having a lot of fun. We're growing like crazy, and you are the ones to thank. So I appreciate you. And on to the next 1,000 here at Locked On Hoosiers. Well, there seems to be a lot of confusion right now. There seems to be a lot of high tension in the Indiana fan base, and rightfully so. You just missed out on Jalen Haralson, the 5-star wing forward, whatever you want to call him, that we felt really good, myself included. We felt good about this kid coming to Indiana, changing the program, and being the next great to wear the Hoosiers colors. Well, that didn't work out. He goes not only to another school, he goes to another in-state school, and he goes to Notre Dame, a place that hasn't been relevant in college basketball in quite some time. And so everybody seems to be a little upset. And I've talked about, especially the last couple of days on this channel, how it is crucial for Indiana to go and land Braylon Mullins. I said it, they must go all in. They must make it happen. You must do what you got to do. But that hasn't been good enough for some people. That hasn't been a good enough take, a good enough reason. And some people seem to still be confused on what I mean by that. Well, let me try to clean it up for you here today. Because I by no means want bad things to happen to this program. In fact, I want the exact opposite. The better things happen, the more fun we have on this show. And the more fun that we have watching our Indiana Hoosiers compete in all athletics, basketball, football, track and field, doesn't matter. We want them to be successful at everything they do. Problem is, I don't think everybody feels that way. I think there are a certain number of fans in this fan base. There are a group of people that want to see us fail. They want to see us fail. They want to see bad things happen to Indiana just so they can be online quicker than anybody else. They can sit on their phone and they're ready to go and attack people and just watch others suffer, right? What's the quote? Some people just want to watch the world burn. And I feel like that's what's happening here. I feel like our fan base is falling apart because we continue to go through this ride over and over and over again. And it's unfortunate, and people are getting frustrated. We're tired of being in the top 3 and in the top 2 of these major recruits and them going somewhere else, the latest being Jalen Haralson. And so my comments and my thoughts are, you have to land Braylon Mullins. He is such a crucial piece now to the future of Indiana basketball, to the 2025 class for Indiana basketball, and what could be a really good next few years for Indiana basketball. But that wasn't good enough. And so here's what I mean to dive deeper into that. What if Braylon Mullins doesn't commit to Indiana? What if he does go to UConn? What if he does go to North Carolina? What if he surprises everybody and does something crazy and picks outside of his top 3? Don't think he will, but just stick with me here. What if he doesn't pick Indiana? Well, then guess what? We're in trouble. We are in trouble. The future of this program is in trouble. Our recruiting class is in trouble. And there's a lot of question marks then moving forward on who you can land in 2025 and who's going to play for you in 2026. In no means am I saying that the entire future of Indiana basketball relies on five-star Braylon Mullins. He is good. He's very, very good. He's a top 20 player. He's from right here in Indiana, and he is a program changer, a difference maker as a guard. But two things can be true at the same time. Indiana and the future of this program would get better with him, but they will be stalled without him. He can change the future of this program, but he is not everything and not the entire future of this program. Does that make sense? Do you get where I'm going here? Indiana, you've lost out on Jalen Haralson. He was your go-to guy, and you got burned. And so you've got to prove right now to your own fans, if you're Mike Woodson, you've got to prove to the administration, and you've got to prove to the rest of college basketball that we in Bloomington at Indiana are still a threat. That we are still a threat to go and get the biggest names in high school basketball. When our logo walks in the door, or when that graphic goes on social media from some of the best players in the country, and the Indiana IU is on that graphic, we need other programs to be shaking in their boots. We need other programs to be scared and worried and threatened by Indiana being in that top three, being in that top two, offering a scholarship, taking planes to go see these kids when Mike Woodson walks in the gym or whatever assistant coach shows up. But that's not happening right now. And that's extremely frustrating. And other fan bases are laughing at us because they see it happen over and over again. We have our own fans laughing at us because they're tired of it. That's what I mean by you have to get Braylon Mullins. You must go all in on Braylon Mullins, as I talked about yesterday. Apparently that wasn't clear, but I hope it is now, because the future of this program is riding on guys like Braylon Mullins, not just him in particular, but guys like him. Braylon Mullins, Eric Reeby, Michael Brown Jr., those types of players you've got to get, and then they have to work out. And that's a whole nother portion of this conversation, right? We're watching that unfold with Mackenzie Mbako going into his sophomore campaign. We're about to watch it happen with Bryson Tucker in his freshman campaign. Those things go together, but it all starts with landing commitments, man. He's from Indiana. Don't let another one walk away. Don't let another one walk away. And this time, if Braylon Mullins walks out of the state of Indiana, well, let me say it this way. If he walks away from Indiana, the Hoosiers, he's walking out of the state. He's either going to Connecticut or North Carolina. Two phenomenal programs in college basketball who will sit back, they'll kick their feet up, they'll pour themselves a bourbon, and they'll point and they'll laugh at the Hoosiers once again. I'm sick and tired of it. And I hope that you are as well. And I hope that you can hear and feel and see the passion and the anger and the frustrations that I have so many times in this exact situation. And what gets me even more fired up is when our own fans are laughing right along with the enemy, who want to see us fail just so they can say, I told you so. That's old. I'm over it. And the best way to fix that, if you're Mike Woodson in Indiana, go get somebody. Go make a statement. Go land Braylon Mullins. Because what if you don't? I just told you what's going to happen. And mark my words. Mark my words. If you don't land him, bad things are going to happen. You're going to stall out. You're going to fizzle out. You're going to lose all of the momentum that you've built this offseason. And that's not what we want. Not going into the season with a lot of hype and excitement that we have for the team that we're going to see on the floor this season. You're going to lose everything that you built for the years to come. Well, coming up on Locked on Hoosiers, we're going to flip gears, talk some Indiana football as Curt Cignetti and the boys. Lots to cheer about for them. They're 4-0 right now with a chance to be 5-0. They host Maryland coming up tomorrow inside of Memorial Stadium. Could they get top 25 if they win this game? Plus, we'll look around the Big Ten as well. All that coming up here on Locked on Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. That's Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. Welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here again, making this your first listen each and every day. Shout out to my everydayers, those of you who come back Monday through Friday and support this show. Again, 3,000 subscribers, man. I cannot just explain what that means. I've over doubled this show since I took over, coming up on a year, which is crazy to think about. Just next month will be a year. So thank you for being a part of that. And I am having fun, and I hope that you are as well. Be sure you like this video on YouTube. Comment down below, where does Indiana go next in terms of basketball recruiting? Plus, I want to see your score predictions for Indiana and Maryland football coming up tomorrow inside of Memorial Stadium. Drop those down below in the YouTube comments. And then, as always, if you have not become one of the 3,000 subscribers, well, you can become a part of the next 1,000. You see our Locked On Hoosiers logo? Just click to the subscribe button just to the right, and that'll help you become an everydayer and support this program. Well, Indiana hosts Maryland this week, and Indiana football is home once again after a quick road trip, a long road trip, but a quick road trip out to California. The Hoosiers, that was, of course, a couple of weeks ago. Then you come back, you've got Charlotte, and then you go on another road trip to Northwestern. And lots of people have talked about, I know it got brought up on on our Big Ten squad episode yesterday. If you missed that, go check it out. Lots of the Locked On Big Ten guys were on there. So many things to discuss, and those are a lot of fun, man. So go check that out. But back home again against Maryland, right? Second game of the Big Ten schedule. You then go on the road to Northwestern, back home versus Nebraska, then Washington, at Michigan State, home for Michigan, who's ranked for now. I don't think they will be when they get here. At Ohio State, cross that bridge when we get there, and then you're home versus Purdue. And so all things considered, right? What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 road games, including UCLA, which you already dominated, Northwestern, who's terrible, Michigan State, who will not be good by the time we get there, and then, Ohio State, who's probably the best team or one of the best teams in all of college football. Go 3-1 in those games. Win your home games. Hello. We're talking big-time postseason production here and postseason potential. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves because, as Curt Cignetti has told us this week, we got a really good Maryland team coming in. And that's a Maryland squad that we just don't know a whole lot about, man. We just don't know what we're going to see from this team because the only real competition they played was Michigan State, who I'm not giving a ton of credit to, but they beat Maryland on the road at Maryland. So you do have to give them a little bit of credit, but my concern here with this Terrapins team is Billy Edwards. Can Indiana get home and limit this guy on what he's doing? He's throwing 75% completion percentage this season. He's got 8 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. And we know what Indiana's defense has done really well. Get to the quarterback, force some turnovers, and then score off those turnovers. And so I want to see that happen. I know weather has been a big conversation. We'll just have to see what it ends up being in this game. But if it does become a ground and pound, I think that benefits Indiana, don't you? I think we have a solid run game, much better than what Maryland's going to be bringing. And early game normally benefits the road team, I always say, especially in conference games. but not this time. Huge movement going on right now for Indiana fans to get to Memorial Stadium and pack it out and be there to support this football team no matter what's going on. I don't care if you've got a family reunion, a wedding, doesn't matter. Cancel it. Get there and support this team. And I think there's a lot of people flocking to Bloomington. And if they do, I think we have a huge advantage. We're already a favorite, right? Our friends at FanDuel have us favored between 6 and 7 points, depending on when you look at it or where you look or whatever. But I think we win this game. I really, really do. I think we win this game. I think if we just do what we do, which is long drives, don't turn it over, right? Something that just doesn't happen with this offense. And then play hard, hitting physical defense. Look, Maryland's the type of team, they'll take some shots. They will. They'll take some shots downfield. Can our guys like D'Angelo Pons and them in the back end make big plays? If we can, we're going to be just fine. And I'm not worried about this game. Well, I take that back. I'm not worried about us in this game. That's what I mean by that. Because of what Curt Cignetti has talked to us about, what Curt Cignetti's message has been to this team all week long, which is Maryland's a good team. Don't overlook. Don't look past them. Luckily for us, I don't think we'll get caught in a look ahead situation here because Northwestern's next. And no disrespect to them, but it's not like Ohio State is next or Michigan or whatever. You know what I mean? Nebraska even, I think you could find that. We could find ourselves in that situation, but we'll cross that when we get there. Just show up and play your game, man. Show up and play your game and live in the opportunity to be 5-0. 5-0 for Indiana football to start the season. And you can see on our topic board over there, would we be a top 25 team at that point? I think so. How could you not? We're already receiving votes. I think we were second outside the AP top 25 this week. So how could we not be a top 25 team in college football if we're one of the few 5-0 squads? There's some teams at the bottom that I think will probably lose at some point this week. I had it pulled up. Here we go. Some teams at the bottom. I mean, Boise State's playing Washington State. That could go either way. Texas A&M, they're playing Arkansas. That could go either way. Neutral site there at Jerry's World. Kansas State playing number 20 Oklahoma State. That could go either way. BYU's at Baylor. Don't overlook the Baylor Bears just yet. Oklahoma plays at Auburn. You just never know. Do you see what I'm saying here? The bottom 5 teams in the top 25 have a good chance, one or even more, to lose a football game. So yeah, well, absolutely. We should. Whether we will or not, I don't know. But we should be a ranked team. We should be top 25 if we beat Maryland, start 2-0 in our conference, and have an undefeated record, which not a ton of teams can say. Is the resume just the most craziest thing you've ever seen? No, it's not. It's not. But you have to play the games on your schedule. And if you beat the teams on your schedule, you should be rewarded for that. And then there's bigger opportunities as time goes on. But for this Indiana squad, that's what it should be about. It should be about showing up, playing efficient football, getting better each and every game. I want to see Curtis Rourke command the offense again. I want to see people stay healthy. I would love to see the offensive line have a really good game this week. And then defensively, just get after it. Let them loose. Let them go. I don't care. Let them do what they want to do and just absolutely get after it. If you do that, Indiana's the better football team. I think we win. I'm going to say 31-20. I have 31-20 as my score prediction here on the show. I think that's what happens. I think we win. I think we cover with our friends at FanDuel. And then I think we get into the top 25 next week when we head on the road to Northwestern. Well, coming up in our final segment on Locked On Hoosiers, we'll run through all the other games in the Big Ten quickly. We'll look around what's going on in the conference, how it impacts Indiana moving forward. A lot of our opponents in action this week. We'll have that for you in our final segment on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So if you're like me and you're watching the game and you kind of get that hunch right in the middle of the game, you want to check out some scores, you want to check out some stats, or maybe just place a bet, you can do all of that in the FanDuel app. And you can do it where you place your bets all in one spot. Did you get in on Thursday Night Football last night? If you did, good for you. If not, you still got Saturday and Sunday to bet on football. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. So go to FanDuel.com right now to get started. Download the FanDuel app today or go to FanDuel.com. Final segment here on Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here. If you're looking for another show to get in on here at the Locked On Podcast Network, we got everything you need. We got all your college shows, all your professional shows, even college football and college basketball. As we get closer to the college basketball season, go check out my guys Isaac and Andy over there. They do a phenomenal job. Love talking to them. We're going to have them on the show periodically throughout college basketball season. So go check out Locked On College Basketball, all the biggest storylines. They've got you covered. And tell them that Jacob from Locked On Hoosiers sent you. Well, let's get to some football games around the Big Ten. Some interesting matchups for Big Ten foes this week in college football. The game that's actually being played tonight. Yes, Friday night, Big Ten football. We're used to that here in Bloomington, but this is a Big Ten matchup between Washington and Rutgers. And this applies to us, of course, because we play Washington later this year. We welcome them to Bloomington coming up in about a month. Is that right? Yeah, about a month from now on October 26th. And so keep an eye on this game. That's a Washington team that I just don't know. I don't know. I don't feel good about it. I'll say this. If we had to go out to Washington, it would be a lot more iffy, right? Because we had to go to UCLA, but that's a bad team, man. That's not a hostile environment by any means. Washington, Seattle would be a different story, but they come to Bloomington. Either way, Washington on the road at Rutgers. I'm going to take Rutgers, slight favorite at FanDuel. I don't feel good about it. Just kidding. I'll take Washington. Have no reason to. Michigan taking on Minnesota quickly. I'll take Michigan. It'll be ugly. This game's going to be disgusting. 35.5 is the total here. Don't watch this game. Do yourself justice and do not watch this game. It's the same time as the Hoosiers play, so you won't have to worry about it anyway. I'll take Michigan here. Of course, the Wolverines come to Bloomington later on in the year. Nebraska and Purdue. The Cornhuskers have cooled off a little bit, right? They had a hot start, and Illinois somehow beat them last week, 31-24. So I'm going to take Nebraska, A, because I never picked Purdue, B, because Purdue's a bad football team. Don't overthink this. Nebraska's going to win. I think they cover. They're a 10-point favorite as of this recording. I'll take Nebraska to win and cover on the road in West Lafayette. Two teams that Indiana won't have anything to do with this year. Wisconsin is on the road in Southern California taking on USC. Just take USC. Don't overthink it. The spread's weird, like 15, 16 points. I don't know about all that, but I will take USC here. Ohio State's on the road at Michigan State. I remember the days where this was such a big game, such a big matchup, and everybody around the country looked forward to it. Game day would go to this game all the time. East Lansing would be going insane. They'd have a whiteout. It'd be crazy. Not so much. Ohio State will roll over Michigan State. Both of those teams will be playing Indiana later on this year. Illinois, Penn State, a top 20 matchup inside the Big Ten on Saturday night. Penn State, have you seen the line on this? They're favored by almost 20 points. I don't know what it'll be come kickoff, but flirting between 19 and 20, that's too many points, man. Penn State will win, but Illinois covers. Give me the Fighting Illini to stay within a couple of scores in this game, but I'll take the Nittany Lions to win. And then Oregon, it'll be bad. It'll be bad. It'll be really bad when they go out to UCLA. If Indiana can do it, Oregon can do it too. And to get on Indiana's schedule one more time, I really wish, now that we know this team is pretty good, and we had an idea, but we didn't know. And to be honest, we still don't know. But I hope Maryland puts up a fight this weekend. I hope Maryland puts up a fight. I think Nebraska will put up a fight. I think Washington and Michigan State will put up a fight. And then, of course, Michigan and Ohio State. I wish we had one more big hitting game in there. Nebraska very well could be. It still could be that game for us, but I just want us to get tested. I want to see exactly what we have. How good are we? How tough are we mentally? What can Curt Cignetti do in his first year as the head coach here in Bloomington? And what steps can we take to be better? And then let's show recruits a little something, huh? We still have Julian Lewis out there who's floating around, hasn't committed anywhere yet. I know we got linemen visiting. We've got linebackers visiting. We have running backs. I mean, we got all sorts of dudes who are starting to kind of look around a little bit. Hey, what's going on over there in Bloomington? Hey, whoa. Basketball season ain't here yet. What's happening? People are taking notice. And I want to see what we can do throughout this entire season. But it starts with Maryland tomorrow. I have the Hoosiers winning. I said 31-20. I'll stick with that, and we'll have a full breakdown for you on Monday's episode. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and thank you so much for being here and making this your first listen each and every day. Be sure, if you have not already, okay, do me a favor, do me a solid, like the video on YouTube. That shares it, spreads it around. That way people find it. Comment your score predictions down below. Indiana and Maryland. Do the Hoosiers get it done? Do we get tripped up? Is this a trap game for Indiana, or do we take care of business? Let me know in the YouTube comments below. And then next to our Locked On Hoosiers logo, the little oval to the right, hit the subscribe button. We're over 3,000. I cannot thank you enough. You can be a part of the next 1,000 right now here on the Locked On Hoosiers YouTube channel. And for those of you on the audio side of things, be sure that you follow us there and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode of Locked On Hoosiers. We're back on Monday, okay, Hoosier fans? So until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.